We're doing another program review of a well-known influencer that has a lot of people using their training. And by and large, programs in this particular app have not been very good. So we're gonna see if this one stacks up. What's up everyone? Jason Brown here, the King of Programming, back for another program review. Still in the Playbook app and trying to find some good programs. So, want to start this off with a little bit of story because I think that this stuff is very meaningful in terms of what I'm seeing and how I'm arriving at these programs. Of course, I'm taking a lot of feedback from you guys. A lot of you guys are on my mailing list. Get on my mailing list. We send out a weekly newsletter to all our subscribers that is packed with free value. There will be a link in the comments. Would love to have you guys come on board. And this is the place that we take feedback as far as from you, what programs we should be reviewing. So love to have you on the mailing list. This program is one that I found in the Playbook app. I went through a lot of programs before arriving on this one. And I arrived on this one because so many of the other programs, I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't even know what I was looking at. It was just a pile of shit. Doing weird stuff, exercises that you can't even set up in a home gym. And it makes it very hard on my end. If I don't really know what it is, how am I gonna tell you guys what it is other than saying it's a piece of shit? And I don't think that would be fair because I do think that, number one, I don't have all the answers. And number two, there might be something that I don't know about. So when I look at a training program, we think about fundamentals of program design, like exercise order, exercise selection, sets, reps, and rest intervals, conditioning, what types of conditioning, is it in alignment with what the program is trying to do? So these are all things that I consider when looking at these programs. But if you've got a program that is just full of all these novel exercises all across the board and there's no rhyme or reason to anything, it's very hard for me to give you an accurate assessment of what that is. And frankly, I think that that stuff that's novel might be good for someone for a short period of time. But if you're having to try to figure things out on a continuous basis with a training program you're using, you're probably not gonna stick with it long term, okay? That's my 2 cents. So this program, I went through a bunch, found this one, and yeah, I wanted to get into it with you guys today and look at all the fundamentals. Now, to this point, I haven't found many good programs in this app. When I look at other apps like Train Heroic, a lot of great programs. On this end of the spectrum, not so good programs. And that's kind of what I just see as a whole. Now, I have reviewed programs in here that were solid. We did Don Saladino's program, which you can check out that review if you haven't already and see how that one stacked up. But this is another program that definitely had some great branding. Even the name of the program, Action Hero Jack 2.0. I want to be an action hero. I want to be Jack 2.0. So let's take a look at what's here and see if it's feasible. So this program is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And actually, hold on, let me back up because that's not true. In a week, we have, see, this is a little bit confusing to me because we have almost 14 days of straight training. There is some mobility built in. But if we just think about kind of like how this program is structured, we've got a back and biceps, chest and tricep, lower body day, shoulder and core, and metabolic mobility, and then mobility. So it goes into a different split thereafter, which to me is already, I haven't even looked at the program yet. That's already a little bit confusing. It's a 9-week program. So when we think about a program, guys, think about structure across 9 weeks. So if it's a push-pull legs, we have push-pull legs, and some programs will do it a variety of ways. But if we were to think about those sessions, that would be structured within a week. And there might be some other things in there too. If we think about a full body training program, you might have 3 full body days. You might have 2 aerobic conditioning days. On the other end, you might have a program that is made up of a lower and upper split where we have 2 lower sessions, 2 upper sessions. I'm not super clear on this because after we go to day, we've got body weight, mobility, total body, dead mill sprints, mobility, total body check-in. So, and this is something so we go back to back and biceps on day 22. So I actually, most of the time I do these reviews, I don't look out long-term, but this is just something I did on the spot, and I think that might help understand this better. But without just kind of, laboring over that, let's look at what's here as far as the training. So this is our back and biceps days. We've got deadlifts, rows, pull-ups, rows, curls, rows, curls. It's a lot of stuff in one day, guys. I am someone that prize myself on being very pinpoint with exercise selection. A lot of the programs I see that do very well have a level of restraint, and they're asking people to put in maximal intent to usually anywhere from 4, 6, maybe 8 exercises. But this is definitely a lot. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 exercises. So we start off with barbell deadlifts, 4 sets of 8 with 85 seconds rest. 85 seconds. Why 85 seconds? Why can't it be 90 seconds? In reality, it should be like 2 to 3 minutes, especially for heavier sets. So 85 seconds, I'm not sure why. It's not enough rest. The order is good though, so I like that. And then we go into bent over barbell rows with 80 seconds rest, 3 sets of 12. And then wide grip pull-ups, 3 sets of failure, so max reps, 90 seconds rest. Again, like to see, especially for if you're going to true failure, we got to rest 2 to 3 minutes for that at least. TRX rows for 3 minutes. Barbell curls for 3 sets of 12 with 90 seconds rest. So think about this. Barbell curls, he has the same rest interval, actually more rest interval than your barbell deadlifts. Which exercise do you think is more demanding? You guys know the answer already, but drop it in the comments. So barbell curls have more rest than your deadlift. And then we go into preacher curls, 3 sets of 12. And then we go into a chest supported bilateral alternating row for 3 sets of 1 minute. And then we've got the 10-10 waterfall bicep challenge. There's a video. I am not going to watch this. It is a minute and a half video, but basically more biceps. Okay. So overall, I think that there's a lot here. If you want to be a superhero, should you train this way? Personally, I wouldn't have you train this way, but I think there are some good things with this day. I think the exercise order is good. I think that, some of the exercise selection is, these are good exercises. It's not crap. Some of the stuff I see is like made up shit that you've never seen, you've never done, and you'll never see anyone doing that's actually getting great results. This is full of some really big patterns that will definitely produce a good training effect, both in the session, after the session, and cumulatively. So I think overall, it's not a bad day. It is a lot though. So if you like high volume, you like being super sore, this is definitely gonna do it for you. You're gonna be very, very sore after this day. And I would like to see, again, higher rest intervals specifically for that barbell deadlift. So let's move on. I actually thought the day was gonna be, at first glance, I thought it was gonna be worse. I'm actually surprised it was better than what I was initially seeing. So this day, we've got very similar structure to day one, which I do like. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 exercises. And again, very similar structure, which I like. The exercise order, we start off with a yoga push-up with 90 seconds rest. So yoga push-up has more rest than his deadlifts. And that, again, that's a question. Think about, why would there be more rest for a movement that demands more on local musculature than a movement like a deadlift, which is just head to toe, very demanding movement, and obviously nervous system component. So anyways, I don't understand that, but again, that's what I see. So yoga push-ups, 90 seconds rest, 4 sets of 10. Then we go into dumbbell bench, 4 sets of 8, 90 seconds rest. Then we go into dumbbell incline bench, 4 sets of 12, 90 seconds rest. Dips, 4 sets of failure. Skull crushers, 3 sets of 1 minute, so 3 minutes total with 60 seconds rest. Tricep extension, 1.5 rep push-ups, and then more triceps. This is a lot of volume for normal people. And even high level, I would consider myself pretty high level. I've been training for a very long time. I'm gonna put up some numbers, that are pretty respectable. Probably not current day, but in my prime. And this would make me very sore for at least 7 days. And I don't know how long I would stick to this. Now, there are people out there probably saying, I'll do that. I love that shit. Well, then great. That's probably the right program for you. But fundamentally, I would say I'd like to put the dips earlier on in the session. I'd like to have a little bit longer rest interval. I don't think if you're going to go to failure with a dip, you need to do 4 sets. I think you can do 3 sets going to true failure and rest 3 minutes between those sets. Then I would go into my dumbbell bench variation. I'd probably only use 1. I go into my yoga push-ups, skull crushers, and then triceps extension. That probably would be it. 5 exercises is what I would do here. And again, personal preference, but the order I would change. I would add longer rest. That's my feedback, guys. Take it for what it is. If you want to definitely, go to balls to the wall, then you could definitely do it with this session. So I would say day 1 overall is a little more sound than day 2, just based on the order alone. But I do have some things that I like from day 1 to day 2 as far as just the similarity in terms of how it's delivered. So let's look at day 3. This is our lower body day. So very similar structure. We've got starting off with some step-ups. And someone might argue, well, if you're doing yoga push-ups before we press, is that more of an activation drill? Yes, it could be. But for the volume that was there, 40 reps, that's a fair amount of volume to do before you're doing some heavier pressing with dumbbells and then later max reps with dips. So again, take that for what it is. This day starts off with 6 minutes of body weight step-ups, which, do you need 6 minutes of body weight step-ups to get prepared before you do 4 sets of 12 Bulgarian split squat? I see people program Bulgarian split squats or rear foot elevated split squat for very, very high volume. It's the movement that gets you the most sore, specifically in the glutes. So this is a movement that I would be focusing on moving a little bit more load and probably doing a little bit less volume. 30 reps per leg, total reps per leg, is gonna be more than enough to reap good benefits and not be overly sore for 7 days. So 4 sets of 12 after our 6 minutes of step-ups, then dumbbell goblet squat for 3 sets of 12, dumbbell deadlifts 3 sets of 8, bodyweight alternating lateral lunge for 5 minutes, standing calf raise for 2 sets of 1 minute each, tibia raise, some bodyweight walking lunges for 6 minutes. So again, this is a very high volume program, and again, I think that people will do this, they'll be sore, they'll get a great burn, but the question I have is, what is the minimal effective dose? I ask this to coaches all the time. If you can make more money and work less hours, would you? With training, you can. Unequivocal, I would bet everything on it that you can get better results with doing less. I don't think you need all of this stuff to get great results. But fundamentally, I don't love this day. I think the Bulgarian split squat we could put before our step-ups. I would probably just get rid of those bodyweight step-ups because you've got 6 minutes of walking lunge at the end. I probably have those bodyweight step-ups for 6 minutes at the end as kind of a finisher. But Bulgarian split squat, 4 sets, 6 to 8 reps, 8 to 10 reps per side, 2 minutes rest between sets. Dumbbell goblet squat. I'd probably do the deadlift, the dumbbell deadlift before that. Then our goblet squat, then our lateral lunge, then our calves, then our tibia raise, and then you can end with your 6 minutes of step-ups. That's how I would structure the day. It would be fundamentally better as far as exercise order. The rest intervals would be better, allow for more recovery. And again, I feel like you'd get more from that. So that is my 2 cents on that day. Let's move on. We got shoulders and core. So before we get into this, we've got shoulders and core, and we did chest and triceps on Tuesday. So Tuesday, that's 48 hours away, shoulders and core. And I don't know if the reason I'm making this point is gonna play out, but I just want you to keep that in mind. So we're going through a lot of pressing. We got pressing, reverse fly, some core work, ab wheel rollouts, some bear crawl. Actually not a ton of pressing here, which is good because on day 2, you remember, we just smoked the triceps, crushed them. So if you're going into a heavy pressing day, and we are with a barbell press, how's that gonna play out? 48 hours for recovery. In my mind, that's not enough for normal people, unless you are like way enhanced. And anyways, moving on. Exercise order, I like bear crawls for 2 minutes before. Core activation, yes, you could do 3 sets of 20 reps bear crawl, 10 out, 10 back. And that's gonna be more than enough to get what you need to get. And then 4 sets of 8, again, longer rest interval, but I like the order. Kneeling dumbbell Arnold alternating press for 4 sets of 1 minute, so 4 minutes of pressing. I don't love that structure, but it is what it is. How long is the rest? 60 seconds, so not very long. So it's 1 to 1. And then dumbbell reverse flies, 4 sets of 12. Again, can you get it done with 3 sets? 3 sets of 12 to 15, probably. And dumbbell bent over reverse flies, longer rest interval than the barbell deadlifts on Monday. Something to take note of. Then we're doing some lateral bear crawls, some ab wheel rollouts, 95 seconds rest for the ab wheel rollouts. It's kind of like some arbitrary numbers here. I don't know why, but the ab wheel rollout is longer rest than the deadlift. I'm just gonna keep harping on that. So all of you haters out there that are chiming in and saying I'm wrong, like, well, how do you argue that? Let me know in the comments. And then we've got a Metcon workout, a 12-minute dumbbell carry challenge. I like that. 12 minutes, probably a little long, especially after everything we've done, especially after the week, how we're feeling. But I like some loaded carries in these programs. I don't see that done very often where people are prioritizing the loaded carry. And then day 5, metabolic mobility. And it's an AMRAP of 30 of jumping rope, Spider-Man step, push-ups, skater hop with a touch, lying hip raise, kneeling kettlebell halos, plank to push exchange. Overall, I like that day. I think you could add some cyclical in there and get it to be a little bit more sustainable in terms of heart rate. But overall, I think you're gonna need this day, especially after all the volume we did for both the lower and upper body. There's gonna be some serious late onset muscle soreness. You're probably gonna be sore going into the next week. And maybe that's why he's got these other weeks scheduled the way he does. But let's just take kind of a look at what's here as far as pros and cons. So pros of the program: exercise order, generally speaking, is pretty good. Okay, so they got that out of the way. Exercise selection, generally pretty good. Rest intervals, obviously that's an area of pain, that's more of a con, but overall exercise selection, exercise order is solid. And I think that having the uniformity between days to day where there's a similar structure makes it easier for the end user. Cons of the program: rest intervals are way off for most of the movements, okay? There's some stuff in there that doesn't make sense. I pointed it out. I don't need to beat a dead horse anymore with that. The other thing is I think that the major con of this program is that it's way high in volume. You could get a lot more from a lot less. You don't need to do this type of volume. And in fact, the coaches that I work with to teach them how to write better programs, most of them come in and they're writing programs that consist of way too much volume and just a mismatch for the majority of people they're working with. You can do a lot with a little, but it takes having maximal intent. It takes being really true to yourself with reps in reserve. If you're doing something near failure for 3 sets, you will get something from it. If you're doing something with 6, 7 reps in the tank, then you will not get as much from it. So these are all things to consider. Maximal intent, in my opinion, after 20 years doing this, wins. So that's the major con of this program. I think probably the worst aspect of this program is that it is way high in volume. However, I do think overall, this is a better program in the Train Heroic app, or excuse me, Train Heroic app, the Playbook app. So I think looking further how this thing plays out, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's an actual training program, but I think overall, this program is solid. If you are doing this program, I would downregulate the volume big time and maybe think about using someone else's program like Don Saladino. I think his program is far better than this program. So with that said, I'm gonna give this program, this is a tough one because the volume is way high. Giving this program rejection. See you in the next review.
Best program available on the internet today.
I think it's very difficult to find a trainer like Jason that...
Since joining Everyday Heroes, I feel like I've stopped working out and actually started training.